And the pressure is working. I don't know if people saw over the weekend that both Scottish Labour Party have said that they would bring in a moratorium in Scotland, and the SNP have said that they are going to vote today for a fracking moratorium across the UK. So if Scotland's not going to have it, that is an absolutely massive victory, but we don't want it anywhere else either. Next up, we've got somebody who is completely central to the anti-fracking movement in Britain. She founded Frack Free Sussex. She founded Britain and Ireland Frack Free. She's been campaigning against fracking for 3 years ever since it turned up near her where she lives in Balkan. It's Vanessa Vine.
It's very wobbly. A year ago today, with people in the northwest of England, the desolate north that apparently has plenty of room for fracking according to Lord Howe, I did a live Channel 4 News interview with Peter Lilly, who lied through his teeth and said that there have been 200 fracks in England and nobody's noticed and it's never done anybody any harm. He's personally invested in the industry, in the conventional gas industry. Peter Lilly and many other people in there are personally invested in the unconventional fossil fuel industry. They are lying to us. They're telling us that fracking has been going on for decades in this country. We know it's only happened once, horizontally, high volume, and it triggered 2 significant seismic events in Lancashire nearly 4 years ago now. There are people who can't be here today because they're on the front line, or they're holding space to keep the front line away. In Yorkshire last week, people were camping in tents in the snow, being shoved by police, being arrested. These people, and quite a lot of them actually, quite a number of them, and I've done it myself, not nearly as much as the very hardy protectors, but we're not protesters, we're protectors. The biggest risk we've got today, and I'm not being pessimistic, I'm being realistic, everybody's hoping that the infrastructure bill will be dumped and we will have a fracking moratorium. That will be wonderful, but it will not be enough. A moratorium, if it's decided today, will be wonderful, but it will not be enough. Because what it will risk is that in 6 months or 2 years, they'll come back, and that 2.5 years, they'll come back and they'll say, it's all right, we've looked at it all, and now we have a robust regulatory regime, we've got it covered, and we will have regulated fracking. That is a very slippery, suicidal slope. This industry, this technology can never be regulated safely. It is not possible. You're messing with the vagaries of subterranean geology, the human arrogance that says we can control that. The human arrogance that says we can control that is stunning. I've got a few messages to share. I had an email last night from Josh Fox. He said he wanted me to share this. We won a total ban in New York because the government decided to listen to the science. The science on fracking tells us unequivocally that this process is harmful to human health and the environment. If a government chooses to ignore the science on fracking, they are placing the profits of multinational corporations over the health and the welfare of the citizens. There's also a woman called Vera Scroggins, who's a grandmother in Pennsylvania, who has given her life to this and has been harassed by the industry and is fighting so hard in Pennsylvania that is suffering the worst. The list of the harmed in Pennsylvania now has more than 7,000 families, people who've been harmed or worse on it. It's Vera's birthday today, and she sent me a message to share too. And she said, it's great to know that on my birthday, caring folk in London are standing up for clean water and environment and safety, and not willing to sell their souls to greedy corporations who put their profits first over the people. May you all make history today. We have to make history today. It may only be an incremental history, but this vote's never happened before. This has to happen. There is also, people may not be aware, there's a simultaneous march going on in Belfast now, a rally in solidarity with us. And I have a message from there. We are out in Belfast city centre right now in solidarity with you, because there is only one fight against fracking, and that is global. Your fight is our fight, just as our fight, I'm starting to do the accent, just as our fight is yours. I can't help it, sorry. Last August, our Environment Minister blocked Tamboran from drilling without planning permission in Fermanagh, but Northern Ireland still lives under the shadow of extreme energy. This includes a site right next to a reservoir that serves tens of thousands of Belfast homes. We will not stop until there is no hope for frackers or any drillers anywhere on these islands, this continent or this planet. We chase the frackers out of Fermanagh, and we hope that this week you chase them out of Lancashire and the rest of England. Not in anyone's backyard. So, I just bumped into Norman Baker on the train. He's a bit of a hero, along with Caroline Lucas. Members of Parliament acting with integrity, speaking the truth and doing the right thing. Hopefully he's going to come and speak later. This is a global movement. There are people in Romania, there are people in Australia, Poland, Canada, and I just happen to have a message from Canada. Jessica, Algeria. Algeria, it's getting really heavy. The activists in Algeria are really suffering. Jessica Ernst is an oil and gas industry scientist. She's not a fractivist. She's in Alberta. She's been fighting this industry. She's suing the Canadian government and the company that drilled under her land and polluted her water so badly she can't even flush her toilet. She sent me a message last night just saying the only reasonable action is no frack action in the UK. And one other message I want to share, because a big part of this campaign is that it is targeting areas where Indigenous people live. Now, we're all Indigenous people, we're all people of the earth, but particularly in North America, the Mohawk, the Mi'kmaq people in so-called New Brunswick, Elsipogtog, are really suffering, and they've had the police firing rubber bullets at elders and children just because they lit sacred fire in front of the seismic testing trucks. There's a man called John LaRose who's a Mohawk man in Pennsylvania. He sent me the Mohawk warrior flag that I've brought to lots of rallies. It's not with me today. It's become a symbol of the global movement. And he sent this to share with you. We are here today at a critical point in the history of mankind. I would ask the esteemed members of Parliament to please consider the next 7 generations before you make your decision today. Please make a decision that cares for the next 7 generations. The next 7 generations are depending on the choices we are making today. Please keep them close to your heart. Peace, he said. The battle's not over. The tweet storm's going mad, the emails are going mad, Facebook's been going mad. People have been putting themselves on the front line for 3 years and getting arrested and hurt, and every level, whether you can get to a protest camp, get your hands in the sink, stand in front of a truck, write to your MP, join a Facebook group. We've got to do all of it, and I have to repeat, even if we get a moratorium today, it will not be the end of it. And I'm going to repeat this for anyone who wasn't here before, and I think everybody will be saying this. A moratorium doesn't sort it, it's a delay, and it gives them the chance to go away and consider and say they've sorted out the regulations. They can never sort out the regulations. You can never regulate this technology or this industry. We need an outright ban in favour of a safe, thorough, renewable energy infrastructure that will give us lasting jobs, safe jobs, that will give us energy security. And food. We are the investor removal team, every single one of us. And if they don't give us a moratorium, I will be repeating my personal question that a lot of other people are asking, having done everything lawful, from petitions to peaceful protest. At what point do I act in self-defence?
Thank you, Vanessa. It's not just Vanessa that says that fracking can't be regulated into safety. The UN Environment Programme says that regulation can make fracking safer, but it cannot make it safe. We're going to take a short break from speakers now, but we've got some other things for you to do in the meantime. At 1:30 we'll be starting up again. We've got fantastic speakers. Bianca Jagger, Vivian Westwood, John Ashton will all be joining us, as well as Caroline Lucas. We have, but in the meantime, it's not that long before MPs are inside that building across the road vote on fracking. So while we're all waiting, if everyone who has a mobile phone could call the House of Commons switchboard and ask to speak to your MP and ask them to vote against fracking today, that would be great. The number is 0207 219 3000. That's 0207 219 3000. We're also in the next 10 minutes or so, while we're before we have some more speakers, there's going to be some singing. Okay. Would anyone like to do some singing?
Okay guys, sorry about that.
There
It's
is a
Obi from Occupy this article. I'll have to upload this now. But yeah, if you could, come back to us and then see, if you can, subscribe Occupy NN and Occupy News Network on YouTube. Thank you so much. Peace out, guys. We're back soon.